If you are trying to tell your story to the world, Mailchimp can help for free. And I can vouch for this one personally. I have been a Mailchimp user for years. It is useful, it is effective, and it is very, very simple to use. That's coming from me to you. They got all sorts of pre-designed email templates, or you can make your own if you're into that. They'll show you how to send them, when you should send, why people open an email or click delete. Very, very smart. And they help you find people. If you need to grow a business, it's so useful. Mailchimp can help you tell your story effectively and find people who care about it. I, right here, Chris, the guy you trust from this podcast, use it and can vouch for it. Big, big thumbs up. More info at Mailchimp.com. Very happy to talk once again about who I believe was the very first sponsor of this show, Mack Weldon, a product that I have really come to embrace and believe in personally. I wear Mack Weldon underwear anytime I'm in a situation where I need to be confident. You guys, I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival to do my show. First night, I'm nervous. I put on my Mack Weldons. Makes me feel confident to know I'm wearing such a great, smartly designed product full of premium fabrics. It's so awesome. It's a really, truly great, well-made product. I like it. And if you don't like it, you can even keep it. They'll refund you. No questions asked. Go to MackWeldon.com. Get 20% off using promo code BEAUTIFUL. Hello, Boca Raton, and the rest of the world. This is Beautiful Stories from Anonymous People. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Gethard. Very excited to hear what you think about this call. It's an interesting one. This guy has a story to tell. He's telling it. You'll hear in the first half of the call, I'm having trouble figuring out how to break in. But it moves. It starts to move. Listen to the end. It's a Springsteen story, man. It's fleeing a small town in a snowstorm, winding up in a sexual underground that I've never heard much about. Very interesting stuff. But you might note, I would say on my end, the caller has a few blunt moments. It might feel a little insensitive, but by the end, it gets extraordinarily human. You hear a lot of responsibility and a lot of feelings that get churned to the surface. So listen through the end. This, in my opinion, this one just tonally just shifts in a way that I was very overwhelmed and fascinated by. I hope you are fascinated as well. Enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, is this Chris?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Not much, dude. How are you?
This is like perfect timing, I got to tell you. I've been on hold for about an hour and a half, and I managed to drop off my little baby son and drive all the way to work. And now I'm sitting across the street from work in the parking lot, and I work in exactly an hour and 5 minutes. So very good timing.
Well, I want to thank you for staying on hold. This is the second call we're taking today, and you waited it out, and you've been rewarded. So thank you. But I hope we don't get you. I hope we don't get you fired from work, taking up 2.5 hours of your day.
No, I was on my way. I start in an hour from now. I start at 2. So, like I said, it's good timing. I'm having just enough time for a call.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get into it. First of all, I know everybody kind of does this, but I think everything you're doing is awesome, and I'm a huge fan of everything that you do, and I think it's awesome that you're blowing up finally, and just want to say congrats on all that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good the past year or two about that, and I want to thank you for saying let's get into it as if you were the host of the show and not me. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm going to run the show today.
Yeah, well, I'm taking a back seat. I can feel that already.
So I got an interesting story for you. A little bit about the past few years of my life and how I ended up where I am. It involves the escort industry. It involves moving to Florida. It involves moving to Maryland. It's a one of those stories that some things in it like may not sound like they're real, but it is actually a true story.
Wow. Well, you've laid out a prologue here that is quite fascinating, and my ears are wide open.
Yes.
It's
And I'm just going to set another...
You've given us a table of contents.
Yes. And just a small spoiler for the story. I know you're familiar with Nikki Glaser, right?
Yeah, Nikki's a friend. Nikki's great. So it's, for anybody else,
my
might
story,
not know, such a talented comedian. Nikki is a really amazing comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. And my story involves someone that she interviewed on one of her episodes of Not Safe.
Oh, wow.
It'll tie the whole story together. But, yeah, so I'd say about 4 years ago, I'm from a small town in Pennsylvania. Not a single red light in the whole town. Just kind of a shitty little town, man. Not a lot going on. And I was working at a car dealership at the time. My passion is the restaurant industry, and that's where I'm at now. But I was detailing cars and met this girl that came in. She wanted to buy a car, and I knew her through friends of a friend. You know, it was a small town, and I knew who she was. I knew she was a stripper in another small town in Pennsylvania, which most of the strippers in that industry, in that area, are either missing limbs or quite heavy, or not that that's a bad thing, but she wasn't the run-of-the-mill Pennsylvania stripper, so I was kind of excited about it, you know.
I'm sorry to chuckle. I felt like you caught yourself and said, man. You know, I'm just the missing limbs size joke. I felt you go, sorry about that. But then to follow it up with the phrase, she wasn't a run-of-the-mill Pennsylvania stripper, I think you've won all the goodwill back.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure where you're from in New Jersey, I'm sure there's similar places with similar people.
Sure.
To each his own. But anyways, so I wanted to pursue this girl. It was something exciting to me. And at that time I was playing in a metal band, and like all we were about was like a numbers game and what girls we were hooking up with and all that fun stuff. So when she bought her car, I actually detailed it for her and washed it and got it ready for a delivery, they call it, which is basically when somebody comes to pick up a new car. So at that point we exchanged numbers and hung out a couple of days later. And I don't know how dirty I am allowed to get on this show. I won't go too crazy into detail.
You go where you want, my friend. You go where you want, my friend. I don't think anybody argues with dirty. I need these numbers, bro. I need these downloads, bro. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. So our first night hanging out, went to a couple bars and drank quite a bit of whiskey and a thing called a pickleback, which is, some callers might recognize that. I think it's like a regional thing. I don't know if they have them everywhere, but basically a big glass jar of pickle juice and vodka with pickles floating in it that they leave like under the bar for months, years, who knows. So we did quite a bit of those.
Is that a Nickelback pun? Did that drink come into existence after the band Nickelback was popular? Is this named after Nickelback, the Pickleback?
I hope not. I don't really. I don't know. I don't think so. I actually think that particular jar was probably there before Nickelback even released their first album. So
I wonder if Nickelback is
a pun off of that.
Ooh,
yeah, exactly.
It's a good thing worth exploring. I'm sure some listeners will track that down. And as a metal guy, you don't need to be sitting here talking about Nickelback.
I'm one of those people that appreciates all kinds of music for what it is. I'm not going to their concerts every weekend, but I appreciate them for what they are.
Yeah, fair. Okay, we've gotten distracted.
All right,
Let's get back to
Nickelback.
it. Yeah.
Okay. So, needless to say, we were pretty drunk and went back to her place. And I would say that was about the time that I had like a sexual reawakening. One of the craziest nights of my life to date. And probably something that I'll never forget. It's probably one of those things where you want to kind of just check it off of your bucket list, or at least know that before you settled down or grew up or whatever, you had a couple times like that where you were like, yeah, like I may be a loser now, but at least I was kind of having fun at one point.
It's a very grim way to put this idea that you should maybe live and be willing to make some mistakes. To loop that around and say I'm a loser now, but I had fun at one point. I think there's tomato, I guess.
I wouldn't say a loser. Actually, I guess I misspoke. I'm happier now than I've ever been, and have a son and everything. But we'll get to all that. So, yeah, basically, that first night, I don't know if you've ever been with a girl that was a squirter. But it's something very strange, and I don't know. It's like one of those things where, like, do I like this, or is it like gross, or is it awesome? Like, it's very odd, but kind of cool. And we actually stayed at her brother's house, who I've never met. I mean, who I didn't meet at the time. Met him a couple weeks later, but the room that we stayed in that night, the next morning, like looked like a scene from The Exorcist. It was strange, man. I mean, like claw marks on the walls, and just one of those like crazy experiences. But
wait,
anyways, I was
you're
all
saying
for
a
it.
Sexual experience ended with claw marks on the walls.
Yeah, like literally, she had to repaint her brother's spare bedroom a couple weeks later. Yeah. So, needless to say, I was
Stop
hooked
trying
at this
to
point.
move
Like,
on, man. What are you talking about? You had to repaint the room. How does that happen? You can't stop trying to move on. You're talking about a room had to be repainted.
I got a lot to cover.
Okay, yeah,
I
go
got a
for
lot
it.
to cover. Whatever you want me to pause and explain, then just go for it.
I'm trying. I don't need to know too much about it, but how does a room need to be? I'm like This American Life on this episode. I'm trying to get into the details. You know, it's very much like my friends at This American Life.
I'm not going to say that the entire room needed to be repainted, but there was a small, probably larger picture frame size of the wall that needed to be repainted because of the scratches.
Someone got pinned against a wall, or held onto a wall, or punched a wall in a fit of passion at some point, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I don't remember too much of it, but
too many picklebacks.
I remember enough to. I know. Yeah, stay away from those.
The notorious aphrodisiac known as the pickleback.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody's wondering how to spice up their love life, just get a jar of pickles and a bottle of cheap vodka and mix them together and let it sit in your cupboard for a few months.
That's what they call Pennsylvania Viagra.
Yeah, exactly. That's some advice for anyone who's wondering.
Sure.
Yeah, so, after that night, probably for the next, 2 weeks straight, we pretty much had crazy nights like that every night, and I was all about it at this point. I mean, we were starting to kind of have feelings for each other. Like, I don't know, we were casually dating, about as serious as you could get with someone in her line of work. I didn't expect a happy ending or a fairy tale ending or anything like that. I knew what it was, but I was obviously still into it. So we started dating, and she met my mom, and that was interesting. And I know my mom hated her from the very beginning, and it's not just like that, your mom, no girl is ever good enough for your mom. It's pretty much like this girl wasn't good enough for me or anyone. But basically, a few weeks later, like we were just out eating one night, and we're at a bar and having something to eat, and she's like, I'm thinking of like getting out of here. Like I want to move. I want to go to California or go to Florida or something. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's nothing going on. And, like, long story short, basically, I just kind of agreed with her, and we decided like a couple days later that we were just going to leave. We decided to move to Florida, and this was after only hanging out or pretty much knowing each other for like 3.5 weeks. To reiterate, my mom at this point was like not happy whatsoever, but she kind of saw an opportunity for me to have a fresh start in a new area. And like I said, there's nothing going on where I am from. I've always been like a restaurant guy, and there's only a couple little small mom and pop owned restaurants and not a lot of money in restaurant management or anything there. So, we moved, and, we decided to go to Boca Raton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever been to Boca Raton. It's a pretty awesome part of the country. Florida is like a whole other world.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask,
crazy.
Can I jump in and ask a couple of things?
Yeah, man.
So I want to know more, so you've met this girl, and she's a sex worker. I think it's fair to say that. You're having some really like room wrecking level sex, but that's all we've heard about it. Your mom had trepidations, but you're moving to Florida with her, so there are some genuine feelings there. So I kind of don't want to let you off the hook on something, if that's okay, because you said like you didn't.
No, man.
Well, you said you didn't expect a happy ending. Her line of work maybe caused some concern, but you're still going for it, and you're still dating this person. So I would love to maybe just like pump the brakes a little bit and hear about your real feelings for her, and your real feelings concerning her lifestyle and your lifestyle, and why you did go for it. Because I feel like I want to hear the whole story for sure, but I also don't want to gloss over that fact, because I don't want to. I feel like there's been a movement in the past few years of really humanizing sex workers, and I'm very supportive of that. So I'd love to maybe, just for my own fascination, hear a little bit more about the real feelings that made you move all the way down a coast with this person, and not just the sexual side of your relationship, if that's okay. We're pumping the brakes on the conversation. Might as well pump the brakes on the show a little bit too then, because we have a lot of advertisers. They allow this show to happen, and we're now going to hear from them. There are many times in your life where you might have questions about your love life, your job, your family, or just life in general. And a lot of people wonder, where can you go to get answer to those questions? And for many people, there are many different answers. Here's one answer that might be for you. Get a psychic source reading. You can chat online with a psychic, have your reading by phone. There's also customer care agents standing by 24/7 to match you personally with one of their very gifted psychic advisors. Psychic Source has an amazing first-time discount for listeners, only 75 cents a minute, plus you get that first 3 minutes free, and your satisfaction's guaranteed. You're not happy with your reading? It's free. In order to get this special rate, be sure to keep the Psychic Source phone number, 800-377-3188, stored in your phone, or sign up online at psychicsource.com. You mention the promo code BEAUTIFUL when you call or sign up online. If you call or join online now, you also get their guide to psychic readings absolutely free with your first paid reading. There are many ways that people are out there looking for answers, and Psychic Source might be the one for you. Call 800-377-3188 or sign up online and use offer code BEAUTIFUL. Oh, good God, have you been to a post office lately? Every time I walk in, I think to myself, there has to be a better way for me to mail and ship stuff. going to the post office, it takes up so much of my time. Leasing one of those postage meters, come on, it's way too expensive. Turns out there is a better way, Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package right from your desk with your computer, your printer. You even get special postage discounts you can't find at the post office. Plus, Stamps.com, it's more powerful than a postage meter at just a fraction of the cost. You save at least 50% compared to a postage meter, and most importantly to me, you avoid those time-consuming trips to the post office, standing online, waiting for people to figure out what they want. Let's just get it over with. I use Stamps.com. For me, like over the years, I've had to send so many T-shirts out for the Chris Gethard Show. I watch my wife. She's always packing up her albums for her 2 different punk rock bands, and she's mailing them off into the world. These trips back and forth to the post office. No. I don't think so. There's an easier way. Stamps.com. Right now, sign up for Stamps.com. Use my promo code BEAUTIFUL for this special offer. You get a 4-week trial plus a $110 bonus offer, including postage and a digital scale. Do not wait. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in BEAUTIFUL. That's Stamps.com. Enter BEAUTIFUL. All right. Thank you to our kind advertisers. And now I'd like to escort you back into a phone call. Do you see what I did there? So I'd love to maybe just for my own fascination, hear a little bit more about the real feelings that made you move all the way down a coast with this person, and not just the sexual side of your relationship, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm in support of it. A little later on in my story, you'll see like some other sides of the business outside of stripping, and
sure. I'm really very interested.
It's a crazy industry, but there's still people. They still have feelings. It's not like they're just androids, like just there for someone else's pleasure. I mean, there's still people, and could easily. I mean, a relationship like that is 100% about trusting the other person. If you have any insecurities whatsoever or any inabilities to trust someone, like that is not the road you want to go down.
Yeah. So this is a girl you did.
That's one thing about it.
This is a girl you did trust and you did enjoy, and you were willing to try to maybe reconcile those potential insecurities to go for it with her.
Yeah. I definitely had some feelings for her. I think it was half that, and the other half of it was the fact that everyone else in my hometown, like, was just content with doing the same thing over and over. A lot of factory work and a lot of just blue collar life, having to drive an hour to the nearest mall, or like just being okay with that life. And that's fine for people that want to live it. Like my parents, they have a bunch of land and they just drive around golf carts with their neighbors all day and drink beer. And like, that's whatever, like that's what you want to do. But a lot of young people, I don't know if they're afraid or what to get out of their hometown and to do something or make a change. But I felt like it was one of those moments where I literally like had to do it. Like everybody always says, you know, like if you want to get out or change your situation, you have to literally just do it. You can't really think twice about it. Now, if I would have had a kid at the time or a mortgage or something, like obviously things like that need to go into effect. But I was rent free. I was living with my parents at the time, and like I had nothing holding me back. So I didn't really have any excuses.
So you meet this girl and she needs to bust out too. And you're both maybe feeling stuck in this place and you're looking for any way out. And you decide to go. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. And I was all about it. It was her idea, but like I was just as for it as she was. And I don't want to talk shit on her, but she was a little bit mentally unstable. And I mean, who isn't? Everyone is. But there was a couple times where, this was in the middle of winter too. This is like a couple weeks before Christmas. So it was a really bad winter in Pennsylvania. I mean, it was snowing like 6 inches to a foot every other day. And like, there was one point where it had snowed like a foot the night before, and I had to actually stay at my parents' house. I didn't stay over at her place that night. And like, she wasn't answering her phone for like a whole day. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drive to her house. I don't know what's going on. I got there and all of her stuff was loaded up, and she was like just about to pull out of her parking space and leave like without me randomly. It was a little bit of a red flag, but I'm glad I got there when I did, because if I wouldn't have stopped her, she probably would have went, and then who knows what would have happened. But I stopped her and I was like, what are you doing? Like, she's like, I just want to go. I just want to go today. Like, she's like, I don't know if you're really into this decision. If this is a good idea for us both to go, whatever. She's like, I just want to go. So I was like, all right, you know what? Like,
it's like a Tom Waits
give
song.
me like 2 more days. Right. I was like, just give me like 2 more days, you know, to say goodbye to my family. And because my parents never been on a plane, neither of them in their entire life. My mom and my stepdad, I should say. And so I knew there was no chance of them coming to visit me. The only way I would see them is if I would fly up there or drive. It's like a 20-hour drive.
Yeah. Okay.
So I needed a couple days to kind of make closure with my friends and the people I was in a band with and my parents. And so we did what we had to do, and we left a couple days later, of like a week earlier than we originally were supposed to. There was a huge snowstorm the night before we left. It had snowed like over a foot, and it was like horrible roads the first few hours. Like, thinking back now that I'm a few years older, like, it was stupid to leave in the middle of a giant snowstorm. Like, well, there was no reason why we couldn't have stayed one more day for the roads to clear up. But it was just like, let's go now or we never will type of scenario.
Born to run. Born to run.
So my plan was to get down there and kind of see if I could get into some nicer upscale restaurants or do some music on my own. I had a friend who was going to Full Sail University in Orlando at the time. It was a couple hours away, but from where we lived. But
where the WWE tapes, NXT and the Cruiserweight Classic, Full Sail University. Anyway, that was the most unnecessary interruption in the history of the show. Keep going. So you're looking for restaurant work. Good, man. You're looking for restaurant work.
Yeah, I'm looking for that. I'm looking to maybe collaborate with my friend and record some of my own music. And her plan was to basically get into porn when she got down there, which was new to me as of like a couple days before we left. She decided that's what she wanted to do. And pretty much when it comes to the porn industry or the adult industry period, like Southern Florida and LA are pretty much like where it is. So now keep in mind, like you were saying, like I still had some feelings for her. So it was a little odd that she wanted to do that, but I was still kind of just like going for the ride, you know?
Yeah.
She had an idea of a place that we could stay. I got to back up a little bit. Let me also reiterate that between the two of us, we left with 2 cars packed full. Between the two of us, we had $700 total, and nowhere to stay as of leaving Pennsylvania. About halfway through the trip, she had made a contact with someone in the industry that kind of found us a place to stay. And we didn't have like a definite place where we were going to stay until probably like 12 hours into the trip.
Wow. So you guys jumped into the deep end.
Yeah, it was crazy. We stopped over in Myrtle Beach. Spent the first night. That's about like probably 8 or 9 hours into the trip.
Yeah.
We spent the first night, and we wanted to keep driving, but we mainly stopped because we didn't really know where we were going to end up the next day. So we kind of wanted to stall a little bit and see if our plans of having a place to live were going to fizzle out or not. So she got in contact with this guy who said he was part of Reality Kings, the porn website.
Sadly, I am familiar.
So he claimed he was part of Reality Kings, and he had saw her profile online, and he wanted to do some work with her. So we were going to go for it, and we had a place to stay. So when we got down to Boca, we got to this guy's house, and this is where it starts turning into like something out of a movie, because this guy did not look like somebody in that industry. I don't know how someone in that industry is supposed to look, but I kind of expected to see some like really athletic, like 30 or 40-year-old, like wearing suits all the time on his Bluetooth, like that kind of guy. And turned out it was like this 55, 60-year-old guy who was very sick all the time. I still don't know to this day what the hell was wrong with him, but I mean, he had just like 50 pill bottles in his bedroom, and the house was really a mess when we first got there. Basically, it turned out he didn't work for Reality Kings, but what he worked for or ran was a escort company.
Wow. So
out of Pompano Beach, Florida.
Let's
which is
pause
pretty
this.
close to Boca.
So you're like,
Yeah.
I'm with this girl. We both maybe have some issues, but we're linking up. This might be healthy, it might not. I'm figuring out these feelings, but we're gonna go for it. This is the escape. We both see the escape in this. Don't even know where we're going. Porn comes up. You're like, I'm okay with that. We're gonna try it. And then you get there. It seems like this is a thing that is spiraling in a direction pretty quickly. Seems like everything moved fast on this experience.
Yeah. How long have we been on so far? I feel like we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we've got 34 minutes left.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so we find out not so much porn, but pretty much he ran an escort company out of Pompano, which is about like 15, 20 minutes from Boca. So she pretty much decides, like, I think I'm going to try this out instead of porn. Like, we have a place to stay. In her eyes, it was, I don't have to sleep with guys. I can just go on dates with these older businessmen and make a shitload of money and not have to give up my body at all. And I think she believed it, and I also believed it, or at least wanted to believe it. I hadn't found a job at the time. This was only a couple days in that she decided she wanted to do this, and so we needed money to pay rent. Let me explain this guy. But basically what he did, he had this house with the lawyer for the escort company, who was also an older 65-year-old man, kind of looked like Benjamin Franklin, like huge gut, balding, white hair.
Wow, so
these two guys, like,
Benjamin Franklin.
I don't even know how to describe them.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin's
like
a pretty good start.
Yeah, I don't know how else to describe these two men. They were just like two older, creepy men who shouldn't be anywhere near young women.
Yeah, and tell me about you though. Tell me about, are red flags raising? Are you like just along for the ride? Is there an adrenaline rush aspect to this? Are you in? Do you feel like you're in over your head? Are you in denial about what's happening? Where are you at during all this?
It was all happening so quickly that I just really didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't have much money. Like I said, we only had a few $100s after our trip, and like, I didn't know what to do other than just go along for the ride. And
yeah,
it was kind of amusing. Like, it was almost fun, like figuring out what was going to happen the next day.
And do you feel like,
But
is there any
going
element?
back to it.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. Do you feel like these guys kind of lured your girlfriend into this? Do you feel like it was like predatory on some level?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the whole porn thing was bullshit. That whole aspect of getting us down there to have a place to stay had nothing to do with porn. It was all about the escort thing.
So you guys have been tricked, and you're just you're like rolling with punches, not even in like the usual phrase, but like there's moments where you're like, oh shit, we have no money. The fuck is going on? I guess we'll just follow through on this and see where it goes.
Yeah, man. And I wanted to say about the housing situation. So there's all these bedrooms. Basically, what this guy would do, he had the escort company about 15 minutes away, and this house with all these bedrooms, he would have girls come from different parts of the country, even outside of the country. They would come to that area joining the escort company or being promised to get into porn or whatever the situation was for other girls. And he would give them a place to stay. They would pay like a weekly rent. We paid like $200 a week for our bedroom. And there was different girls staying there at all times. So basically when we moved in, it was the guy, his lawyer, this 18-year-old girl. I think she was like from Mexico or Puerto Rico or something. It was like freshly 18. She had a bedroom down the hall from us with her mom. I don't know. It was odd. So that her and her mom lived.
Let's talk about. So you get to the situation. It's this weird flop house with these creeps who are tricking people into coming from all over the world. Like, so is your gut instinct like? Is there any part of you that's like, we got to get the fuck out of here, or I'd love to get the fuck out of here, but I can't because we're now kind of in this with no money. Like, where is your head at? Are you freaking out at all? I would be losing my fucking mind.
Yeah, I was freaking out a little bit.
Talk me through that.
I was definitely freaking out.
Are you talking with your girl? Are you like, we should split on this? This is dangerous. Like, this sounds like a dangerous situation. Are you guys talking about that together at all?
We did, but she kind of was just like almost too confident in the situation, and she was like, don't worry, like it's all good.
Is there any part of you that feels like maybe she knew what it was before you got there?
Never really thought of that until you just said that, so probably. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I just wonder if when she tried to split without you, if it was like she knows, like, actually I'm maybe about to go down a pretty dark road. I wonder if there's any element of that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, these guys are definitely shady, so I wouldn't put it past them to do their part of it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know. But she started working pretty quickly, like every day she was working. She was gone for 15, 16 hours a day. And she would come home. I was job hunting at the time. I had my car, and like I said, we brought 2 cars. So I was job hunting, and she'd be gone for 15, 16 hours a day and just come home with wads of cash, thousands and thousands of dollars in cash every week. Like, so this is the turning point where I was definitely freaked out, didn't know what was going on. But at the same time, like, I wasn't working, and this girl was bringing home a shitload of money, like enough for us to go and do whatever the hell we wanted every single day. And like, she was paying for everything. So
there's some,
I may have been freaked out, but I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, I'm just going to ride it out. Like,
so there's like a fast life, addictive quality to this.
Yeah. I think my feelings for her kind of diminished over time just by seeing how she really was, but I was attracted to the money and like the lifestyle that we were living.
And at that point, you had said you guys talked about like just dating, but was she sleeping with the men at this point? Was this something you guys talked about?
It was like I don't know. To this day, I don't know if she ever did. I'm almost positive she did, because I don't see why all these guys would pay that much money just to like talk to someone. I don't know.
But you never you didn't want to open that door. It was like, this is a conversation that's almost too dark to have.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like I would try to bring it up, and she just never wanted to talk about work. And, that sex life that we had was going away. So I know that was because of what was going on at work. So, I mean, I wasn't stupid. I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But I was still into it, like, just because we're doing whatever we wanted. And, so this is a pretty short timeline. This is only about, I'd say, being there for about 3 weeks. Like, she started talking about, like, hey, I know we said, like, even if we break up, we would still be roommates or whatever, but, like, you don't have a job yet, and I kind of want to, like, go get my own place. So she wanted to leave, and she didn't want to take me with her. She was looking at apartments, but didn't really want me involved in the process. So we basically had broken up, but we were still living together for a while. And I just want to reiterate the timeline, that right around Christmas. So this would have been, in my lifetime, the oddest Christmas dinner I have ever been a part of in my entire life. Was at the escort house with me, my ex, or whatever she was, the Spanish girl's mom, the guy that ran the company, and his lawyer. That was our Christmas dinner.
Oh, that's a sad.
In this big house.
That's a sad Christmas dinner. You know what? Let's pause right there and step away from this absolute opposite of a Norman Rockwell painting of a Christmas dinner, so we can hear from our advertisers who help make this show happen. Are you the type of person that avoids parties or that gets nervous to speak up in a meeting and then you kick yourself for it later, you're regretting it? I know that is me. 30 million Americans will suffer from social anxiety in their lifetime, and it is something that has had a huge effect on my life. I remember so vividly at college going to parties with my girlfriend, and she knew that if I had these certain tics, if I started rubbing my legs or not being able to verbalize things, she had to get me out of there because I was about to freak out. This had a big effect on my life, these anxiety issues. And I really wish Joyable had been around back then, because Joyable's online program, it's helped thousands of clients overcome social anxiety. Joyable uses cognitive behavioral therapy, which is the leading treatment for social anxiety, according to all the major authorities. You get paired up with a coach who is your partner through the program. They help tailor the program to your specific needs. They keep you motivated, keep you on track. It's available anywhere at any time. You can access it from the comfort and privacy of your own home, which is so nice for people who have social anxiety. 93% of Joyable clients see a decline in their social anxiety after completing the 12-week online program. This program, it's $25 a week. You get a free 7-day trial, so it's about as much as you spend on what, coffee or takeout or a night out at the bar, and it's only 11% the average cost of therapy. But for our listeners, there's a special offer. You go to joyable.com/beautiful, you'll get an additional week completely free. And I'm so happy to have Joyable here getting word out about how they want to help, because it's a thing that I'd love to help with as well. And it's nice to link up with Joyable to do so. Joyable.com/beautiful. Get that special offer. Start taking power over this aspect of your life. Let's get back to the call, because you know what? We've been hearing a lot of the facts. Let's hear the fallout, the redemption, the pathos. Let's go. That's a sad Christmas dinner. What did you guys have? You have turkey? You have ham? How were the sides?
Oh, we had everything. We had Cornish game hens. I mean, the guy was actually a pretty good cook. He was a weird guy, but he was a weird guy, but he was a great cook. He was really nice. Like, he fed me every day. He made sure I wasn't going hungry and stuff. This would be the point a couple of days later that she decides she wants to go. She wants to move out. And I didn't know where I would go. So I basically sat down with these guys and I was like, look, like, I think I might have a job in about a week, but I'm not sure yet. She wants to go. She wants to get out of here. Like, can I stay here for a while? And they were like, yeah, like, don't worry, man. Like, take some time. Like, we'll let you stay here for the next like couple weeks, but in like 2 weeks, you got to give us some money. So she moved out, like she was off. When she left, this is the last time I've talked to her since then. So this is where she drops off of the storyline.
Yeah, and I want to, since we're at a transition point, I want to jump in and let you know, this is fascinating. This is like a whole underground world that I've never heard about, and I'm into it. We have 22 minutes left, and I do just want to put out there, I'm sure many of the listeners want to make sure, I want to just put it on record, I need to know how, because you said this was only a few years ago, and you have a son. I need to know how your life got to this point and how you're doing now. So just keep that in mind. We only got 22 minutes left, and I need to hear about that too. Yeah, right? I think that's fair.
Of course. If only Beautiful Anonymous was an hour and 30 minutes, I think you should change the call time. But, I mean, that's up to you. Anyways. So
Okay, dude. You like to call the shots on me, bro. Second time you big-timed me.
Sorry.
It's okay. So she moves on, and you're now getting in deep with these guys. You owe them. Now you owe these dirtbags something, is what I'm sensing.
Yes, but they were dirtbags, but like they helped me out, and they were really cool about it. Like,
yeah,
they gave me a place to live and put food in my stomach. Like, the strangers, and they were weird as fuck, but they were super nice to me. And like, over the next about month or so that I lived there, like, I actually became like pretty decent friends with them, especially the lawyer.
That's cool. All right.
My bad. The other guy wasn't home a lot. Yeah.
My bad. I'm calling them dirtbags.
It sounds like they're total dirtbags, but they turned out to be really cool to me. And if it wasn't for them giving me a place to go, I don't know what would have happened really. I mean, I might have had to move back home or something, you know? But basically, yeah, so she bounced, and I stayed there for a while. A couple other girls came and went throughout the house, and had some new roommates for a little while. That was weird. Definitely some shady girls. Like, we didn't really come in contact with each other. Maybe at the dinner table once in a while, but we didn't like hang out or anything. I was trying to not be around them as much as possible, but I got a job at a kosher restaurant in Boca. It was a serving job at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. This is like a whole thing we could talk about for a while too. Is just like me starting my career in kosher restaurants, but try to keep it like as short as
this is
possible.
A stunning turn, because I figured this was going to head to the point where it's like, and now I owe these guys, and I became a de facto pimp or a pornographer. I was like driving girls to appointments, and instead it took this turn where
I wish
you just successfully have built something in the world of kosher restaurants. I did not see that coming, frankly.
If the story would have turned that way, this probably would have been like one of the best episodes ever. But luckily for me, it ended up turning out pretty well for me. I didn't have to do anything super dirty. So
that's good. That's good. So, yeah. So you died. I have to say too, because you said your mom had all this hesitation, and it's like you wind up living in a pimp's house instantly. Like, your mom is like, "Hey, I don't think you should do this. It might not end well." And you're like, "Mom, I got to take some chances in life and go." And then 48 hours later, a pimp is feeding you. Have you did you ever call your mom back home and say like, "Hey, Mom, my bad. I should have listened a little bit more." Have you ever had that conversation with her? Yeah,
absolutely. She knows the whole story. She knows she was right about that one. But this is at this point in the story. So I had bounced back and forth to a couple roommates over the next few months, working at this restaurant. I met a guy who was a school teacher. I met him at a bar, actually. He was drinking, and I was still drinking at the time, and he seemed like a cool guy. He was there in a suit, and he would basically I ended up moving in with him, and I don't want to keep that story too long, because I want to get to the end pretty much, but he was somebody that would like literally go to bars dressed in a suit, and he would talk to women and use an accent and stuff and pretend that he was a businessman traveling from other parts of the country. But really he lived like 5 minutes away, and he was like a freaking pillhead that, I don't know how the hell I get drawn towards these people, but
yeah, bro, I was gonna say,
he was
like,
my first roommate.
I was gonna say, like, I will. Can I rake you over the coals just for a second? On one thing, and I'm not trying to give you too hard a time, but earlier in the story, you were like, yeah, I don't know, man. She was a stripper. Like, I wasn't trying to like do this and that. And this guy, you're like, oh, he's a freaking pillhead and this and that. And you're like, and then this guy was a really sick, old, weird guy. And there's like a little bit of part of you that's like, like maybe throwing shade at all these different people, but the common element is you. So let's keep that in mind too. The common factor in all these stories is that you definitely like to roll in the shadows a bit, your own self. Huh? Let's take some responsibility on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very alarming that I would be drawn towards those people, and I don't know. I mean,
you like
now
trouble.
I can say it's a good story, but
you like trouble. You get yourself in trouble.
I used to like trouble. Yeah, I used to like trouble.
Okay, walk me through it. 16 and a half minutes left.
Oh, boy. All right. So, yeah, I'm in and out with that roommate. He ends up being crazy pillhead. I find another roommate, really nice guy. He was from Colombia. Really, really nice guy. I worked with him at the restaurant. He helped me out a lot. This is where my baby's mom enters the picture.
Okay, this is an interesting turn.
The second female lead of this story.
Okay, as a viewer, I am interested. As a listener, I'm interested.
She worked next door to the restaurant I was in, that I was working at. She worked next door. She did marketing for a plastic surgeon. Every day she would come in to get lunch, and first time I saw her, I was like, this is probably like the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's way out of my league. I've been with a bunch of crazy people, like, up until now. Like, there's no way I'll be with a girl like this. So every day I would come to work and I would write my phone number down on a little piece of paper and I would put it in my pocket. And every day I was like, all right, like, today's going to be the day I'm going to slip her this piece of paper. She's going to have my number. And I was like a confident guy. Like, I would talk to any girl, and it was just how I was. And for some reason she was intimidating to me. I don't know if it was her professional demeanor, how she presented herself, but I loved it. And it was the exact opposite of of the girl that I came to Florida with, pretty much. Like, she had her shit together. She wasn't that person that I was drawn to when I moved to Florida. She was the opposite end of the spectrum, and I loved it.
She made you want to straighten up and fly right.
Yeah, she did. And we got together and we hung out, and eventually we moved in together. She came to live with me and my roommate, Colombian one, and he was super nice about letting her come and live with me. And we were down there for a while, and we both decided, like, maybe it's time to move back up north. She is from Maryland, where I live now. And left Florida and came up here with not much money again. Her parents took us in. We stayed there for a little while. We stayed with her grandma for a little while. I was progressing my career. I became a restaurant manager fairly quickly after moving to Maryland.
At another kosher restaurant?
No. Fortunately, there's not many of those around here. Maybe in Baltimore. I'm more near, like, Annapolis area.
Okay. And does your girl? She
found out.
Did the baby mama know your whole story?
Yeah, she did.
She knows you were living in what can only be described as a flop house for a while, and she knows that you had some dark twists and turns on the way towards finding her.
Yeah, I think one night we were drinking at a bar, and, like, I unloaded the whole story to her fairly quickly after we met.
Yeah.
Probably only like a week after we met. I'm sure she asked me something like, how did you end up down here? And that's what I pretty much told her the whole story.
Yeah.
But we fell in love, man. And we unfortunately, we're not together right now, so it's not a completely happy ending.
Oh, that's a bummer. I'm sorry.
But no, it's all good. She found out she was pregnant, and we both kept working. She's actually a paralegal now. She works for a law firm, and I'm a restaurant manager. But we, after our son was born, we kind of like started growing apart a little bit, and I don't know. It's a weird thing, It happened like the past couple of years just flew by, and there's always things you want to go back and change, but it happened the way it did, and I'm lucky to have my son now. But basically, we grew apart, and she decided, this is actually pretty recent. This is only about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. She decided she wanted to move out, and it's weird. She left me for another guy, and I don't know if you've ever dealt with anything like this in any of your relationships, but I'm sure there's people listening that can relate. Like, if you're in a relationship and it tends to grow apart, sometimes the person will leave you for someone that was similar to you when you met. If that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
the guy that she left me for is a restaurant guy, bunch of tattoos, like kind of the same vibe that I had when we met. And it's weird, but
yeah,
that's what happened. And it was really tough for a while. I have to say, I definitely still love her, and there's still, when you have a child with someone, you'll never not care for that person, no matter what happens, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I did shitty things, and I went in and out of spells with drinking and doing drugs and stuff. And, no matter what, I'll always have feelings for her. And I think deep down she will for me, but, I have this awesome little boy now, and he's about to turn 1.5 years pretty soon.
Yeah. And you said this all happened within just a couple years?
Yeah, this is all maybe like 3.5, 4 years.
So you took off for Florida 4 years ago, and now you live in Maryland. You have a son.
Yeah.
That's pretty head spinning. Are you like a little are you a little shell shocked, man?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm happy. Like I'm adjusting to having one income. Living on my own and is not as easy as it is when you have 2 incomes, obviously. So I'm still adjusting to that, but I have a great job. I'm a restaurant manager near DC, and I love what I do, and I love my son, and like I'm just kind of living life day to day, and I think about my story a lot from a few years ago, because
yeah, how's it make you feel? Because it's like you got to a happy place, but it was sounds like it was a pretty dark journey to get there. And I will say too, there's a lot of I hear you talking about your job now and your son now, and it sounds like you're very proud of that, and you deserve to be. But also, I got to say, like, I do sense some sadness even as you talk about that stuff. Like, how do you overall feel about this journey you've been on the past few years?
I don't know. It's hard to say. There's aspects of the way I lived a couple of years ago that I miss. Like I kind of miss the rush of like not knowing what's going to happen day to day, or like getting in crazy situations. And like, there's something that draws me to that.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. I mean, a lot of people are drawn towards women or men that are, that have that little bit of dysfunction, but deep down, like the people that are usually have some sort of passion for self-destruction themselves. So I think I have a little bit of that. still left in me. But now that I have my son and I have a good job, and I don't want anything like crazy to happen now.
Yeah.
Like I'm content with a normal life now.
Do you have to
There's a lot of things I want to do and see, but
do you feel like
I'm content.
Do you feel like you kind of have to like consciously push back against that self-destructive vibe, or do you feel like that fire has been put out?
I don't know. I'm fairly young. I'm only 26, so right now it's all about him. His name's Cash. We named him after Johnny Cash, but right now it's all about Cash, and I don't have time, or like I can't go down those paths anymore. It's weird. I don't know. I'm sure you'll have a kid someday, and you'll understand. Like when he was born, when we were at the hospital, my ex was in labor for like 30 hours, something crazy like that. And the second he was born, there's like this weird out of body experience that happens. And it feels like the world kind of just like everything up to that point does not really mean shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like the world kind of drops onto your shoulders in a matter of seconds, and it's very surreal.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a place that you eventually felt like you had to straight up flee from. This led you to some self-destructive tendencies. This led you to some situations that I think anyone listening would say that they sound like they were probably ill-advised, if not outright dangerous. And now you've got a son. So thinking about what you've dealt with and what you've been through, and thinking about the fact that you somehow, you've landed on your feet in a way that I think sounds very commendable. So do you think about your life in context of your son? Like, what do you want to do for your son that will maybe not set him up to want to maybe fall into some of the same traps you did? You must think about that, right?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I don't know. I don't know if he will subconsciously pick up on the fucked up things in my life or the fucked up things in his mom's life, and become part of that when he's older. I do the best I can to keep him away from. I mean, I would never want to have a kid that does drugs or anything dangerous.
We've
really not worth it. And I know.
What kind of drugs did you fall into? Because you kind of mentioned that and then moved on. Like, what were you messing around with?
Downers, painkillers, and fentanyl, and really dangerous things. And things at the time were like fun, but it's not worth it. And
so you got lucky. You got lucky.
I am extremely lucky that I have my son, because I could have really lost him because of my issues and my demons. And like, if we had more time, I could go deeper into that, but I almost don't really want to. I like to keep it where it is. But things could have ended differently for me. But I'm very lucky that I have him today, and that I don't have to go down those paths anymore.
That's cool, man. That's really inspiring. That's very genuinely inspiring, man. Because I feel like we've been plowing through this story because there's been a lot to say, but I just want to make sure at the end I tell you, like, it sounds like there was like a real potential for a nosedive, and then it seems like you managed to kind of pull the plane up at the last second.
Yeah, literally, like, I came really close to messing up. I came close a couple times to getting in trouble with the law because of what I was doing. I came close to dying, basically. I came really close, and I didn't have someone catch me doing drugs, or I didn't have somebody like find out about it, like, without me I came clean to everyone, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Coming clean to my now ex, my baby's mom, and coming clean to my mom, and
yeah. Were you
definitely one of the hardest things.
Had you fallen into drugs before you left Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Well, there's a piece.
It was on and off for quite some time.
That's a piece of the puzzle. That makes the whole story make a little bit more sense from the start on my end, definitely.
Yeah. I know we were flying through the time pretty quickly, and I didn't want to get caught up too much.
No, of
but
course.
I wanted to touch on it because it ties up my whole story, and I guess, like, I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker, but I'm sure there's people listening that probably dealing with the same shit that I was. They may even have children or whatever, but just like when I left Pennsylvania and I was just like, I got to just do it. I'm just going to go. Like, that's how you got to take things like drugs or alcohol or whatever your demons are. Like, you have to just put it behind you. You have to just make the decision. You can't just keep saying every day, like, oh, it's something I got to work on or something I got to fix. Like, nothing will happen until you literally just do it. I'm very thankful that everything kind of worked out. I mean, I may not have the girl that I still love, but we have a pretty good relationship at this point. We're pretty good friends, and we're pretty civil about our son and the time that we spend with him. And
yeah,
I have him 3 or 4 nights a week and 1 or 2 mornings a week. So I have him at least half the time, if not more, some weeks. So, I mean, yeah, everything works out in the long run.
Yeah, man.
Sounds cliche.
Sounds like you tried to, like, physically run from some of those demons, like PA to Florida, but eventually it felt like, oh no, you have to actually get your shit together to deal with them. You can't just run. And I'll also say this. Can I say this, man? There's one point where you referred to your son. If anybody at the beginning of this episode heard, I'm going to say the phrase, it's all about cash, they would assume it meant because you went to a place where you fell into the porn world or the escorting world, the pimping world. And instead, that phrase is about how you had to get your shit together to take care of someone else and help him avoid his mistakes. And that's really hitting me in the gut right now, man.
Yeah, well, there's your episode title.
Hey, dude, the phone's about to hang up. You got any last things you want to throw out there?
Yeah, just I think everybody should listen to what I said. Everybody's got their shit they got to deal with, but if you have kids or if you have something you're working towards, a career path or anything, just do what you have to do. Be a good person at the end of the day. You can make mistakes and fuck up and have fun, but when it's time to get your shit together, get your shit together.
Yeah, it's good advice, man. And thanks for, I'll tell you what, thanks for cutting deep. It went a little deeper than it was in the beginning, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate talking to you. This has been awesome. I'm happy I got through today.
Caller, I hope you stay where you're at and keep moving towards more stability and happiness and discoveries. And thank you for sharing your background and those overwhelming few years that you had. And thanks for really owning it. I felt like at the end you owned it, and it meant a lot to me that you would go there. And thank you. And I hope everybody enjoyed this call. Thank you guys for listening and supporting the show. Thanks to the Reverend John Delore, to Greta Cohn, to Zach Dinerstein, and to Shellshag for all our music. Please do support Shellshag. You want to meet me out on the road? ChrisGeth.com has my dates, and I got an off-Broadway show. Fancy stuff. www.careersuicideshow.com for info and tickets. If you're around New York, it would mean so much to me if you supported that show. And if you support this podcast, remember, rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. It really does genuinely help so much. And in the meantime, we'll be back next week with more real stories from real people. I'm Beautiful Anonymous. You know, there's a lot of real people in this world with real stories to tell. Here's one you'll hear next time on Beautiful Anonymous. Listen, you're most likely, from what I can tell, a middle-class to upper-middle-class white person in your early to mid-20s. Things are probably going to be okay. Okay? And no need to be nervous to talk to me when you get on the phone. I'm an idiot, and I don't know. Okay, that's 30 seconds. Was that good?
Yeah, it was great. And so now I think what you need to add are some sound effects.
Oh.
Because like a lot of people enjoy like tapping.
Tapping. That is next time on Beautiful Anonymous.
If you love podcasts, and you probably do if you're listening to this, you don't want to miss Now Hear This. You'll be able to see more than 30 great podcasts live on 6 stages. Check out some of the best shows in the podcast universe, including WTF with Mark Maron, Comedy Bang Bang, Dinner Party Download, Criminal. It all happens at Now Hear This, October 28th through the 30th in Anaheim, California, just a hop, skip, and a jump from LA. Don't miss it. Go to NowHearThisFest.com to buy your tickets now.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman and Chris Bannon. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.